And welcome to the interview portion. As promised, we're here with LeRoy Watkins, who runs Viking camps. Now, if you have a child of any age, you probably have heard about Viking camps. If you don't, maybe you haven't. But this is a real treat because LeRoy has built up a remarkable opportunity for lots of different kids to be active in lots of different ways. And so thank you for coming. We're going to dive right in. Tell us what Viking does. What are the full sets of services we would expect to see?
Oh man, Tyler, that's a big question. Well, I'll try to be as quick as I possibly can. So Viking Sports, we are a private recreation company, and our scope of services is pretty vast. People who tend to do Viking know us for the thing that they enroll their child for, or them as a grown-up that they do. But just to go through the big ones, we do summer camp, we do after-school clinics and after-school programs. During this, I guess, COVID remote hybrid learning thing that's going on right now, we do half-day camps for the kids to keep them active because they're in front of the screen all day. So we want something just to get the heart racing a little bit. For the little guys who aren't necessarily in school all day but doing daycare, we do programs that work on gross motor development at local parks in Brookline and other communities. We have developed programs for elite athletes with our academies. We work with the Revolution right now. So a lot of our soccer programs for ages 6 and under are actually powered by those guys. And it's remarkable the resources that they give us to help our soccer programs just like make them really, really awesome. We also do Ninja Warrior events, and we work with communities and towns and organizations like the Brookline Chamber of Commerce to do these full large-scale Ninja Warrior things to keep people involved and engaged during the event that they're attending. And we do road races. We participate in the Brookline Day Road Race. We help run it. My general manager, Chris, he cracks his jokes. He gets kids organized, gets the grown-ups organized for the 5K. So we do a lot of different things, literally for the entire family. And the whole point of everything that we do is around fun and developing a sense of community.
I'm a little bit terrified to ask about the ninja stuff, but I want to go ahead and do it now to get it out of the way. What are you talking about? What is this ninja stuff?
All right, it's not the martial arts stuff, but there's this really popular show called American Ninja Warrior. And years ago, back before you had these cool trendy glasses, Tommy, a parent asked us to do a Ninja Warrior birthday party. So me, Chris, the rest of the crew were like, we can do this. We had no experience doing these things. So we Pinterest a bunch of different obstacles and to see what things we can actually do on a remote basis where we can make and build and bring to offsite to a different location and how to make it really, really fun. Parents loved it. And we put some pictures out there on Facebook and Instagram, and towns wanted us to bring that little concept that we did for like a 90-minute birthday party to camps. And then we started doing these at camps in Sudbury and in Brookline and all over the place. And then parents who saw this said, hey, Viking, can you bring this Ninja Warrior fitness, obstacle, balance, cardio thing to my kid's school for a fall fair or a spring festival? Or even to First Light in Brookline? I was like, sure, why not? So we're not doing anything martial arts related, though. That would be cool. It's a lot of personal tests to do endurance, strength, balance, agility, those kinds of things. So it's really fun and competitive. I'm sure if you did it, you would love it.
Maybe. So it's like an obstacle course race, which sounds amazing. You have a storefront on Cypress Street, just south of Route 9, right at that business area. Tell me what goes on there.
A lot of magic happens there. So before we built that space, me and the coaches would all congregate at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and game plan how we're going to make our programs really great. Then I became a dad, and I realized that there was no place in Brookline to bring kids on cold weather days just to burn some energy. So me and my business partner talked. We built this Viking Activity Center right there on the corner of Route 9 and Cypress. And it really was just a place for people from the community to come and just play. And then we realized it was empty. We needed to fill it with action. So Chris Baker, my general manager, started doing birthday parties there. and made them really fun. And a lot of parents ranted and raved about his enthusiasm and the way that he did these birthday parties. So we do birthday parties there. And then during the day, we have these bounce houses that we blow up, and we do open play there. So new parents who are just in the trenches of just not sleeping, changing diapers and bottles, for them to congregate and hang out with like-minded people. And then it's also an area where we can train the coaches and just on everything, especially with this whole COVID thing. I can set up a video camera, record my things, do my Zoom meetings with the staff, and it allows us to just all be on the same page, and allows us to swap ideas and to be next to each other and to bump into each other and just figure out how we can make things a whole lot better, even though I always think they're already really good already. And then we also use the space for rentals for families. If it's cold or if they have people over, they can just rent the space and just have it be their personal living room. So that's what we do there.
That's good to know. That might come in handy. I have delivered my son to birthday parties there, and he has certainly had a good time. I think a lot of parents know Viking because of the summer camps, and one of the things that my family loves about the Viking summer camps is that they're only a week long, and so you can use them to sort of glue together other things all summer long. So my children come in and out all summer. It's not like they're at Viking 14 weeks in a row, but a week here, 2 weeks there, a week there. Tell us how summer camps work, and then tell us how they worked this year, which of course was very different with COVID.
Oh yeah, so this year, we'll get into this year, but generally how they work when COVID isn't around doing its terrible thing is we make the camps into weekly blocks, because parents want to go to the cave, they want to go on vacations. There are other camps out there that parents want to send their kids to, but when they just want to meet kids from the neighborhood and just sort of hang out with their buddies, Viking's the perfect place. We try not to ever be full. We have access to a lot of facilities in Brookline, which allows us to get more space, so that if families really, really want to come and we're really kind of lacking the space, we're able to just open up more space. We're able to move to another field, another school, Cypress High School, bigger school, whatever the case may be. And the goal of our camps are sort of old school. I mean, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I'm an old man. And I remember just playing, eating dirt and just playing, going out in the morning and coming back at night when my mom called us. And we try to keep that sort of dynamic with the Viking stuff. I try not to have a lot of like fancy equipment and things like that. I try to make the fun is generated around the kids who are there and the coaches and their personalities, because that personality is what really drives each camp week. I mean, when kids come back to camp for multiple weeks, like they have an option. They can say, Mom, Dad, I hate Viking, but generally what ends up happening is say, I really like Viking because of Coach Heather, Coach Chris, Coach Matt, whoever the coach is, because they develop this bond with my staff and they can see themselves within my staff. So we work really, really hard to have that diversity that really draws kids in and gives them a really unique, great Viking experience. And then with this summer with COVID, we honestly didn't know what was happening. I'm Mr. Optimistic. I was hoping we could do summer camp. My business partner, Zach, was a little bit more conservative with what we were able to do. But the rules were relaxed to where we were able to actually do summer camp. So me, my healthcare consultant, the Brookline Health Department, who were wonderful and great with helping us craft our policies around COVID and how we should run camp and the day-to-day, were really, really great. So we were extremely cautious when we first started camp off. Like, we didn't want anyone touching balls. Everyone had a hand sanitize every 2 minutes. If someone just looked at someone who might sneeze, we had to shut camp down. We're very concerned. But as people figured it out and everyone saw how it was operating, I felt that camp got a lot more comfortable and became a lot more, I don't know, it felt more like regular Viking as the summer wore on. I mean, we only did it for a couple of weeks, but I mean, families who I've spoken to are very appreciative that we're able to do anything, because kids have just been they haven't been able to socialize like they normally are because the way school is and the way society was just sort of locked down.
Yeah, and I want to capture that, because I think that working parents know exactly what I'm about to talk about, and other folks maybe imagined it for a while but have already forgotten. By the time we were into June or early July, kids had not really left the house in 3 months and were going crazy. Parents had also more or less not left the house in 3 months, those who are able to work from home. And we were going crazy. And then we were together driving each other crazy. Right. And so, um, my children are almost 6 and almost 10. They kind of play together sometimes, but it's not great. Some kids were fortunate that their siblings were very close. Others struggled far more. But it was really hard, and we were just dying for camps to give the kids a change of scenery, and to get a little mental and physical health back, some restoration, and to give us, a few minutes. There was after our children went off to camp in July, my wife and I looked at each other and said, "This is the first time we've been kid-free for 95 days." It was the first time in 95 days that neither of us have been with our children. And so, people were scared, and we still are in some ways trying to figure out how to be safe during COVID. But I think the camps were really important, and I'm very grateful. Not every camp opened. Some struggled, made different decisions. That's how this goes. But I think Viking played a really important role there. And the other thing I want to emphasize that folks may not appreciate is Viking doesn't just do camps at Lars Anderson and Baker School. Viking does camps throughout North Brookline, which is really important for families who don't have cars. And there are a lot of families in Brookline who don't have cars and want to get their kids to some outdoor activities. And there's not a ton of ball fields in North Brookline, but Viking figures out how to use what we have and keep kids moving along. But you don't just do it in the summer. Tell us about what you do to stay busy during the school year.
Yeah, so we find we really want to help families out. And it became more apparent when I became a dad. I mean, I have 3 kids, and those days where there's professional development days where the kids don't have school, but parents have to work, what do you do with the kids? So parents would just send me an email, send me a text, say, "LeRoy, is there any way I could just hire a Viking coach to babysit my kid today? I really need to go to work." So enough of those emails and texts came in through to me where we started doing in-service, like school holiday and school vacation camps. We get to use the high school, we get to use Sewell over in Chestnut Hill, and kids are they're able just to come and have fun and not be home watching YouTube or playing their Switches or any of the other stuff that I wish that I personally could do all the time, but not really great for the kids. And so we just find that service has just helped so many families out, and also has helped the kids to maintain that sense of social balance and give them that structure on that day that ordinarily there's no structure whatsoever.
So I got to ask, LeRoy, you're LeRoy Watkins the third. You've got 3 children. Are they LeRoy 4, 5, and 6?
I'm not George Foreman. No, just LeRoy the 4th. He's the first one to come out of my wife's stomach. And then we have Mia, who's 7, and then Braden, who is 5, just doing kindergarten right now, which is interesting.
That's great. I love it. So you're used to doing stuff during the school year, but this year is different, of course. A lot of kids, including my son Felice, are sitting at the dining room table from 8 to 2:30. So are you able to fill in a gap there? I know the answer is yes. I want to hear about it.
Yes, we can. So we have a couple different things, again, trying to help families. Is after your son is done looking at his computer, doing the Google Class or whatever he's doing, we have some half-day 3-hour camps happening so that the kids can get a mental break and just run, get fresh air in their lungs and just run and play. While you, with your cool, trendy glasses, can bang out your Zoom meetings, grab some Starbucks, become a grown-up again without having to worry about what the kids are doing. And then during the day, we actually have the Viking Activity Center, which you just talked about, which is available for families if they really need it. They can just rent, like a family or a pod can just rent it out, and my staff can proctor the remote learning experience. Only if they need it. We're there in a pinch. And I have so many coaches who would love to be able to help out at people's houses, again, to help with the remote experience, because some people do have to work. And it's really, really tough to balance the remote learning and your actual job that puts diapers on tuchuses and food on the table.
Yeah, I totally get it. And I love that there's some real entrepreneurship in saying we've got some skills, we've got some services, needs are changing. We're going to change with them. I do want to just let you know that these trendy glasses you refer to are frames that were designed by at least 1960 and haven't changed since. I special order these. These are the exact frames that Malcolm X wore. And I just think that's amazing that the company still exists. And so I special order them. If they're trendy, don't thank me, thank Malcolm X. What are you doing for the tots? What are you doing for the little ones?
For the little ones, that's a big area. We have little as like in 2 or little as in 5. Define what tots is.
We'll say pre-K,
Okay.
pre-kindergarten.
All right, for the pre-kindergarten guys, we weren't able to offer camp this year just because I was overly paranoid about the masks. And I mean, my son was 4 when the whole lockdown COVID thing happened, and he would wear a mask like a pirate's eye patch. I mean, it just wasn't happening. So I was very concerned that every single 4-year-old in Brookline was going to do the same exact thing. So we didn't necessarily offer the camps, but what we're doing right now is we're starting to offer just some more clinics for that age group, because at that young age, that socialization that they normally get by just living life at a playground, they're just not getting it. So we're trying to offer more opportunities for the age group to be around other kids their age. So a lot of things are an hour long. They take place at all time, morning, afternoon, both days on the weekend. And it's just geared so that they can run around, play, and just to be around their kin, their brethren.
So, I don't leave Brookline much. You guys are all over Brookline. Where else are you doing business? Is this just Brookline Viking? You had said you're in another place. I think you mentioned Sudbury. Where is Viking operating, and are you getting bigger?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're getting bigger. I mean, we always get asked to do more stuff in more places. So a lot of people in Brookline think that Viking is only the Viking Activity Center office right there on Cypress and Route 9. And then they're surprised sometimes to hear that we do summer camps that get a couple of people to attend them. And then they're even more surprised to hear that we offer programs in Dedham and in Wayland and in some other communities outside of Brookline. And then they're even more surprised to hear that we're partnering with the New Revolution, and that we work with the YMCAs providing enrichment programs. So we are the largest private recreation company in the state of Massachusetts. We operate in a lot of communities, either through municipalities or through private organizations. And we basically do just fun stuff. Each place where we operate, they have different set of needs. So in Medway, where they have a new recreation department, we partner with them just to help get things started. We do everything we possibly can do to give the residents of Medway an experience that a recreation department should be offering. In Brookline, we do a ton. I mean, you live in Brookline, you know a lot of the stuff that we do. In Wayland, they have different set of needs, so we'll help out doing some weekend programming and then maybe a townwide event. In Weymouth, one of our newer clients, they have this gorgeous facility called Union Point, and we use that facility almost like a second Brookline High School, where we do a lot of soccer programs, a lot of enrichment programs for all ages. So the communities, we do work in a lot of communities, but the goal of what we do is pretty consistent. We're just helping out the best that we can, using our skills the best we can.
You mentioned Ninja Warrior earlier. Soccer has come up. Give us a rundown of some of the sports that you're doing, or maybe even surprise us with some new ones. I've recently discovered pickleball, for example, which is very popular among seniors. What are some of the fun stuff in terms of sports that the kids are doing?
Okay.
Other than soccer, which we know because everybody plays soccer.
I wish my business partner Zach was here. He could rattle this one off just like that. All right, I'm gonna try without messing up. We do soccer, Ninja Warrior, baseball, flag football, lacrosse, field hockey, street hockey, volleyball, gaga ball, dodgeball. We do. Oh man, see now I'm drawing this huge blank. What else do we do? Tag. We do multi sports. We do golf, tennis. We don't do aquatics yet, or archery yet. Do we do anything? We don't do pickleball yet, but we're looking into that. And we do indoor soccer. We do basketball leagues for grown-ups and adults, and soccer leagues for grown-ups and adults. I think I got most of it. Do you think we don't do rugby yet? Oh, ultimate frisbee. There we go.
Yeah, I'm thinking like if you have like basketball, soccer, a little much for me, but if you had like an adult horseshoes and 12-ounce cold ones drinking sort of event, I would participate in that. I feel like that would be for me. In fact, I do that at the Elks Lodge down in Brookline Village. We've got a horseshoe pit out back. What else should we know? What am I supposed to be asking you? What's coming up? A lot of the stuff's outside. So other than the facility on Cypress, what do we do as it starts to get cold and maybe even snowy and dark at 4 o'clock in the morning? What does Viking do all winter?
Oh man, well, we don't close down, that's for sure. We turn our operation indoors. So this winter, we're still trying to piece together how that's going to look. We had to work with the health department to figure out the protocols, the procedures. Hopefully kids are back in school in some capacity. I know that the kindergartners are back in school in Brookline right now and a couple other kids. So we're trying to take their lead to see how they're actually utilizing the school with their social distancing and the masks. But normally we move indoors and we do basketball, floor hockey, largely on the weekends, but also in the afternoons in the Viking Activity Center. And then we try to do more community events. So that with the Brookline Chamber of Commerce, that's when we tend to participate in First Light in some capacity. And we do a lot of behind the scenes planning for events happening in the spring. So a lot of people don't know that we work with a lot of PTOs throughout Greater Boston to help with various fundraisers and other kinds of events that require a lot of planning. So we're planning these things when it's really, really cold outside. And we do a lot of demo and sandbox testing in the office, and a lot of training as well. From a program standpoint, we have December camp, February camp. Hopefully April camp is really, really nice, and we could be outside and inside at the same time. But those are the things we tend to do when the weather gets a little chillier out.
Now, I'm sure you're familiar with Go Noodle. For viewers who aren't, Go Noodle are kid-oriented snippets, a few minutes each, where the kids are in front of the screen, but they're active. They're pretending to run and jump, but they actually are sort of running in place or jumping. LeRoy, have you thought about something like that, where you get kids on Zoom and you're doing anything from Marine Corps training to yoga, just do it over the Zoom. Kind of like this interview is over the Zoom.
Yeah, well, we do that too now. When COVID hit, we had to sort of switch gears because parents still needed their kids to do something active, so they asked if we could help out. So we do have a small catalog of virtual offerings, and we're actually planning to do some other types of innovative virtual offerings as the weather turns a little bit colder, because I imagine it being a little tough to get a lot of people in a gym to do sports in a safe way. So I think we got to use the technology the best way that we possibly can to somehow engage kids and just to give them a little taste of something different, not from their parents' voices, but just something from us. I think we're young and hip and cool, I think. And it'd be really great if we can give them a really nice, innovative experience in their living room or in their house, somewhere convenient. So yes, we are working on that.
And the other thing that, I think parents and even teachers sometimes forget is kids don't just need social interactions with the adults in their lives. They really need social interactions with their friends. When I talked to my son about his experience this year versus March and April and May and June last year, he said he liked it a lot better this year because he could see his friends over Zoom on the classroom. And even though he's not talking with them directly, just seeing them, just remembering that they're there, I think was really, really important for him. And so to the extent you can facilitate that, as well as keep kids moving and make sure that downstairs neighbors grumble, oh, your kids with your pounding on the floor. Totally worth it, right? Totally worth it. LeRoy, thank you so much for giving us this time here on Brookline Interactive Group. Viking sports is such an important part of so many kids' lives and so critical to so many families, sort of stitching together week by week how to balance working parents and busy kids and living in an apartment where you can't just, lock the kids in the backyard and tell them to play on their own. Viking sports is a really important part of family life in an urban area. So thank you for what you do. Feel free to call me anytime. And, I'm going to keep sending my kids to Viking so long as you keep having 1 week programs around our neighborhood, because it's super easy, it's super convenient, and the kids, they haven't lost an eye yet. So it must be safe. LeRoy, thanks so much. We'll see you around the way.
All right. Thank you so much for having me, mate.